What's up, everybody? It's your host, your guide to this wild expedition known as the series Worst Places to Live in Fiction, and it's Jobbers and Goons. Today, we will be exploring Gotham from DC Comics and all the horrible things there that makes it one of the worst places to live. But before we get into this, I do have a couple of announcements. If you want to see your favorite character on the Goon video series, the Jobber video series, or you want to see worst places to live and get one of your favorite places up there, check out the prices on the screen, as well as Yancey Street as the code will get you 20% off. So definitely check it out and hit me up on Discord if you're interested in purchasing a slot. Of course, if you're not interested in doing that and just want to hang out, join the free public Discord server. We talk about things like comics, manga, Star Wars, Harry Potter, all that good stuff. So definitely check it out. But without further ado, let's get back to the video. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's begin. So, as your tour guide, I must say, this tour will be as treacherous, if not more, than the trip to Marvel's New York, which, if you haven't seen, check it out after you watch this. But regardless, Gotham in DC is a hopeless, horrible dump, shithole place to live, and I hope you guys enjoy this exploration of it. I have over 30 places we're going to, so it should be a lot of fun. Again, don't get off the Jobbers and Goons Express, because I can't guarantee your safety in these parts of town, but I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into the tour. First up on shit to avoid in Gotham, or why the place is horrible to live, is Joker. If you don't know who Joker is, he is the homicidal slash crazy genius that just bullies Batman, honestly. Just looks for ways to troll him, ruin his day, and as a result, plenty of members of Gotham suffer. This includes chemical attacks that leave them permanently scarred, traumatized, if not outright dead, as well as explosives that he tends to leave throughout the city in order to trouble both the regular opposition and Batman himself. Overall, Joker is a top tier threat because he's crazy and he literally doesn't care who dies. Next, we have his traumatized lover, Harley Quinn. Now, this is a former doctor who was corrupted by the likes of Joker and his undeniable personality. What followed soon after is one of the most disgusting relationships in comics, but it is what it is. It's popular as shit. But regardless, Harley Quinn is absolutely insane, incredibly dangerous. She's been known to run with gangs, have her own gangs, fight wars for Joker. Sometimes she's broken up with Joker, but if she's not with Joker, she slept with half of Gotham's major players, so her connections alone can get you killed. Definitely avoid Harley Quinn at all costs. Next, we have one of the most legendary midgets in the street, Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. If you don't know who Penguin is, he is a certified crime lord, owner of the Iceberg Lounge, and you can also catch him on his blimp selling weapons to the highest bidder. With his role being one of the most prominent crime lords in all of Gotham, it's only natural that typically Penguin can be found with a very dangerous gang, as well as always willing to shoot and ready to shoot with top tier weapons because he's an arms dealer. Definitely look out for Penguin, as well as the fact that he's constantly in wars for turf in Gotham, if not outright fighting to take over Gotham itself. Penguin's a hooligan that we must avoid. Next, Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. Now, Two-Face used to be on the side of the law, but he's not anymore. He's an absolute goon, traumatized from a horrific accident. Two-Face now basically decides the fate of his ops via the flip of a coin. That's right. The dude literally hedges bets on the coin and will blast your head off depending on which side lands. Definitely avoid Two-Face. His gang is formidable. They can be found throughout Gotham, as he too, just like Penguin, is constantly one of those crime lords fighting for turf and superiority in Gotham City itself. So Two-Face or his gang is definitely a threat to your health. Next, we have Catwoman. Now, this might surprise you because I guess in some stories she's considered an anti-hero, but you will find we have a few of those on the list. Plus, she's a horrible person. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I don't care if she sleeps with Batman. She's a piece of shit. So, Catwoman, aka Selina Kyle, is liable to rob you if you have any flashy things on you. So, if you're on the tour bus and you got your chain on, you might get robbed if Catwoman sees you. She's a top-tier thief, runs with criminals, and similar to the problem that we face with Harley Quinn, she slept with half the city, and she slept with Batman. So if she's robbing you, Batman might not even save you because he's conflicted. It's a shitty situation to be in. Overall, don't beef with Catwoman. She's terrible for your health. Next, we have Solomon Grundy on the tour now. This brings us to the swamp region. Don't know how you feel about Grundy, but here's a big issue we face as citizens on the tour bus, right? If we get off, we're dealing with Grundy, who could be one of two things. Either peak human level, like Batman or Green Arrow level, or he's like Superman level. It depends on the resurrection and how strong he comes back. The fact we have to gamble with either a steroid head zombie or a Superman level zombie is not a threat I want to deal with. Stay away from the swamps and stay away from Solomon Grundy and Gotham. Next, we have the Ice Pop, who has beef with everybody, Mr. Freeze. Now, Mr. Freeze was somebody who tried to save his wife in the use of cryogenics, and as a result, the experiment drove him mad, turned him crazy, and he now dabbles in extreme cold and crime. Now, he does have a tragic backstory, but make no mistake, Mr. Freeze is a dick that will literally put you on ice. Avoid him at all costs. Sometimes you can find him with his ice guns manipulating elemental ice. Or he's even had moments where he was actually in like this ice, almost like an Iceman form, which was really weird. But typically you'll run into his human form with the ice tech and amps. Definitely avoid him because he literally will freeze you to death. On the other side of the temperature beefs, we have Firefly. Depending on the incarnation of Firefly, this was a pyro technician that turned to the darker side of the business. That's right, literally will burn you with flames. This character typically has wings, flies around, and blasts people with the fire-based weaponry. Avoid getting turned into prime rib by Firefly. That's all I got to say on that matter. It's pretty simple. You don't want to get burned alive. Next, we have the Court of Owls. Now, let me tell you what the biggest problem with the Court of Owls is. It's the fact that they've had the drop on Batman for decades. So what chance do regular people have? If they've got the drop on the boy, no one else stands a chance, really. On top of this, their foot soldiers, aka Talons, are literally Bat family level. So they're going to beat the shit out of you. Definitely be careful coming around the Court of Owls. Chances are you won't even see them coming before they kill you. Next, we have the Riddler. Now, Riddler is best known as the genius, madman, trickster that plagues Gotham and in particular Batman. Now, unfortunately, when he's trolling Batman, trying to make him solve riddles, trying to prove he's smarter than Batman, this comes at the cost as Gotham, as things might explode, bombs might be rigged, tons of people will die. He's also had gang wars with characters like Joker. It can get really bad when dealing with the Riddler. Best avoid him. He's mistaken as a nerd, but he'll definitely get you killed. Next, we have Deadshot. Now, Deadshot is interesting because in terms of compared to other characters on the list, you might be safe with Deadshot depending on what his contract deems him to do. But he does often get involved with gangs and working for prominent figures throughout Gotham. So you could get caught in the middle of a turf war and popped by Deadshot. Definitely don't let that happen because the boy doesn't miss. You definitely don't want to beef with him. Next is a Another mercenary that can get you murked real quick depending on what side of the fence you're standing on, and that of course is Deathstroke the Terminator. Deathstroke, aka Slade Wilson, typically is not operating without being paid, but a lot of his fights and battles and contracts has led to large-scale operations that have plagued Gotham, blown up several city blocks, all these things. So don't get caught in the crossfires with Deathstroke in the mix, because he's definitely letting it fly, definitely doing what it takes to get the win, and doesn't really care if civilians get messed up in the process. Next, we have a reason for you to avoid the sewers, and it's not Pennywise. We are, of course, referring to the reptilian beast that beefs with Batman, Killer Croc. Killer Croc is a savage foe, literally a massive man, alligator slash croc hybrid, plagues the sewers of Gotham. Capable of being a threat to Batman, he can definitely tear you apart. Don't get eaten by Killer Croc venturing into the sewers of Gotham. Next, we have a reason for you to not be a vegetarian when you are taking part in living in Gotham. This is because of the works of Poison Ivy. That's right, Poison Ivy obviously can manifest with plants, different plants, all sorts of plants, and as a result, this can be very dangerous for your health, because she can literally have her poisonous and dangerous plants pop up anywhere, as well as she can seduce you, force you to do things you don't want to. It's a nightmare dealing with Poison Ivy. Definitely avoid the plant bitch, because she's crazy. Next, we have someone who I feel, he again is on like the anti-hero side of things, but I feel he deserves to be on here, and that's Azrael. Now, the reason for this is, one, yes, he has at some points been seen as like a potential replacement to Batman, even a substitute at times, but he's a character who's a fanatic. Like, he believes he's a soldier of God, goes around punishing the wicked with his flaming sword. A radical like that scares the shit out of me. I'm sorry, that's dangerous for the city. Definitely don't want someone running around like that, because what if he's convinced we're all the devil? We're done. Azrael's crazy and definitely deserved to be on the threat watch list for Gotham. Now, next up is the renegade mercenary Bane, one of the most annoying characters to deal with. Got his clout from showing up to Gotham one day, beefing with Batman, getting the better of him, and breaking his back. He's been a menace ever since. You can find him occasionally plaguing the streets of Gotham, either himself, destroying the blocks, tearing up the crime rate, all that, or employing others and forming gangs to go against people like Batman and other crime lords throughout Gotham. He's a menace to society for sure, as well as he trips out with his steroids and roid rages. Definitely don't want to run into Bane when you're in Gotham. Next, we have Clayface. So for those that don't know who he is, basically he's like DC's version of Sandman, just as annoying. And when you die, this time instead of getting buried by sand, you're getting buried by mud. It's disgusting. He's also a shapeshifter, and he's crazy, which allows him to take any form he wants, be confusing, plague the streets, get the drop on you, all that. No one wants to get drowned in mud, but that can definitely happen against Clayface, so I suggest that you avoid him. Next, we're going to get into the more human side of the crime families in Gotham. Let's start off with the big dog family, the Falcones. Now, the Falcones run what some would call the Roman Empire. This is a network of lethal gangs spread throughout America, specifically in places like Gotham, Metropolis, Chicago's there. And the Falcone is the spearhead of this. They are ruthless. They deal in all manners of crime throughout Gotham, as well as they have a hold on basically every level of institution in Gotham City, from courts to cops to judges, all this. Definitely very dangerous to deal with, and if the metahumans don't get you, the Falcone family certainly will. Next, we have another member of the Roman Empire, the Maroni crime family. Now, they're a bit smaller than the Falcones, obviously, with the Falcones being the alpha family, But again, being a member of the Roman Empire, they're another branch of one of the biggest networks of criminals throughout America. I would consider them one of the most dangerous, as they have huge ties with things like narcotics and will waste you for money. Next, we have another smaller branch of the Roman Empire. This is the Sullivan family. Again, they are a family of criminals, mafia style, that serve the Falcones in the Roman Empire. Donnie Sullivan was a ruthless member, known for letting his ops bleed at any point in time. Again, Falcones are very dangerous because of their power and placement in the city and their connections. But again, you got to be just as worried about the smaller units because they're trying to get their respect and their clout up. So they'll probably do more to you. So definitely avoid the Sullivan gang. Next, we have the Skeever family. The prominent members of this gang includes Edward Skeever. They are a smaller branch of the Roman Empire. They don't ever cop pleas. They don't ever take prisoners. All that. They're pretty ruthless. They don't talk. And they get the dirty side of crime done for the Roman Empire. Definitely avoid the Skeever family. Next, we have the creator of one of the most dangerous organizations in the world, the League of Assassins. And this is Ra's al Ghul. Ghul has many ties to Gotham, including having beefed formerly with Batman, as well as his grandson lives in Gotham, that being, of course, Damian Wayne. So with all his ties to Gotham, as well as the League of Assassins having ties there, it's likely you could run into Ra's here, and if you do, he's probably going to cut you to pieces because he's crazy as shit. Next, we have his psychotic daughter, Talia al Ghul. Talia is wild for the fact that she Bill Cosby Batman. If she can take Batman's cheeks, she can pretty much take anyone's cheeks. That's all I'm saying. I'd avoid the bitch at all costs. Plus, she raised Damian, who's one of the most dangerous kids you'll ever see in comics. Definitely would avoid Talia because best case, she kills you. Worst case, she falls in love with you, Bill Cosby's you, and then tries to kill you later. It's a horrible mess. Definitely don't want to mess with her. Next, we have the League of Assassins. Of course, this is the group I just referred to that was formed by Ra's al Ghul. I separated them from Talia and Ra's because you can run into those two separately without the League. But the League does tend to pop up around Gotham, having ties to several organizations that participate in crime. They don't also answer to any, authority, so it's not like they're going to care if the cops pull up. They'll waste the cops, too. So it's definitely a dangerous bunch to run into, not to mention they're world-class trained ninjas, definitely menaces to society. Next, we have Scarecrow. Now, this is an annoying character to deal with because obviously chemicals, drugs, and feelings are in the mix. If you run into Scarecrow, you might get hit with his fear toxin, which makes you see the worst possible things you could imagine. Anything that could possibly mentally damage you because it scares you that bad could fold you when you run into the toxins of Scarecrow. Definitely avoid him because he's going to nuke the battlefield and make everybody go batshit crazy. Next, we have the Mad Hatter. This is a character that might get slept on because he's not as prominent as other characters, but the Mad Hatter, as a psychotic magician type character, has several tricks up his sleeves that are very dangerous and have allowed him to combat characters like Batman, as well as, of course, he has tricks and illusions. So he's a tricky fellow that's also a homicidal maniac. Definitely would avoid running into this fake magician because he could put you on a t-shirt. Next, we have Mauzier the Demon. Now, this is an interesting character and it's pretty cool. He's fought characters like Hitman, and he also ran into Midnighter. But he's basically a demon made up of characters who have died by the gun. And these are demons that plague Gotham City. And like I said, Mauzier has run into and fought characters like Hitman in Gotham City. So you literally might get shot by gun-downed spirits turned demons in Gotham. It's horrible. There's literally demons haunting Gotham that you have to deal with. Next, we have a character I just mentioned, Hitman. Tommy Montague Be catching bodies in Gotham. It's as simple as that. He's got like weird telepathic hacks, so he's like a low-grade superhuman assassin, and he goes around in Gotham catching bodies. Again, we've dealt with so many contract killers. This one's potentially a little more dangerous because he tends to get away with more with heroes, as in like heroes don't target him as much, and he's doing other shit besides beefing with heroes, so he doesn't get as much trouble with them. So that's another element that makes Hitman dangerous. Definitely don't get popped by Tommy when you're in the streets of Gotham. Next, we have, I guess you'd call a hybrid, Red Hood and Damian Wayne. I guess they'll share a spot. The thing with them is both are radical forms of Batman, essentially. We have Red Hood, who grew up Jason Todd, was killed by Joker, brought back, and being brought back, it made him crazy and vengeful and spiteful, and he's a Batman that will kill and literally shoot you. Damian Wayne is the spawn of Batman, but he also is the spawn of Talia al Ghul. Grew up with her as an assassin, so he also might stab you if he's the one that catches you breaking rules in Gotham and breaking laws. In my opinion, these two are way worse to run into in Gotham than Batman because of the lethal measures they will happily take when dealing with you. Next, we have Ventriloquist and Scarface, perhaps one of my favorite threats to talk about on this list. Now, the ventriloquist is obviously what he sounds like, a literal ventriloquist, but he's fucking crazy, and when he's going full nuts, he has a doll that he controls called Scarface. Scarface is a gangster puppet who shoots at his ops, so you literally might run into a mad ventriloquist who shoots you using his doll, which is batshit crazy, but it's just another thing to deal with when you're living in Gotham. Next, let's get to the medical side of things. You might run into Dr. Hugo Strange, or even worse, you could get captured by him. Hugo Strange, fascinated with the demonic ways of medicine and science, oftentimes can be found experimenting on real people, turning them into horrific weapons of science that often plague characters like Batman. And he can also be found at the asylum working with some of the worst characters in Gotham. So yeah, Hugo Strange is definitely no one to laugh at when it comes to being a threat. Next, we have a classic alternate to Batman, the Man-Bat. Now, the reason this character is dangerous is it's literally a scientist that went crazy, made a formula that turned him into a half-man, half-bat, homicidal maniac. Some stories he's not as bad, but still, in others, he literally tries to eat people, mauls them, flies around, and is overall animalistic, and a massive man-bat, which is just nasty to deal with. Finally, to wrap up the list, of course, this isn't everything in Gotham that's a threat. It's just the stops we have on the tour today. And if you love tours like these, run the likes up. Let's try to hit like 500. But anyways, getting back to this, we have Black Mask. Black Mask is a criminal overlord who is fascinated with masks, loves to wear them, reps the brand, and he also tortures the shit out of people, murders his ops ruthlessly to send a message, and is constantly vying for power throughout Gotham. So yeah, he's one of the more dangerous crime lords you could run into in Gotham. But anyways, let me know what you think of the city of Gotham. How horrible of a place is this for you to live in? What do you think? What did you think of the tour, and what was your favorite stop? What was your favorite threat to talk about? And more importantly, let me know in the comment section which place in fiction we should visit next that is horrible to live. I'm definitely interested in seeing what you got to offer, as well as if you straight up just want to see your favorite place put on here, you can go ahead, hit me up on Discord, and purchase it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I will see y'all later. Peace.